This is a HeadGum podcast.
Folks, it's time to get Quip. Me and Joe do it. It makes toothbrushing easy. Brushing your teeth, just like making love. It's the kind of thing you don't really know if you're doing it right till you start doing it right. And folks, Quip is brushing done right. It's the new electric toothbrush that packs just the right amount of vibrations into a slimmer design at a fraction of the cost of bulkier traditional electric brushes. It has guiding pulses that alert you when to switch sides, making brushing just the right amount of effortless. It's true, you really don't have to think about it. It lets you know when to move on to another quadrant of your mouth. Quip also comes with a mount that suctions right to your mirror and unsticks to use as a cover for hygienic travel anywhere, whether it's going in your gym bag or your carry-on. And because the thing that cleans your mouth should also be clean, Quip's subscription plan, or subquiption plan, surprised they didn't think of that, I'll have to let them know, refreshes your brush on a dentist-recommended schedule. They deliver new brush heads every 3 months for just $5, including free shipping worldwide. Quip's backed by a network of over 10,000 dental professionals, including dentists, hygienists, and dental students. Most toothbrushes don't get named one of Time Magazine's best inventions of the year, but Quip did. It's time to find out for yourself why. Quip starts at just $25, and if you go to getquip.com/CU right now, you'll get your first refill pack free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/CU. GETQUIP.com/CU. Folks, it's going to be love at first brush.
Welcome to We'll See You in Hell, your favorite horror movie, sci-fi, and fantasy podcast where we review, discuss, and commentate on films and television shows of the stated genres. We're here. It is late. It is about 11 p.m. our time on a Saturday night. And I think it's time we just get this damn show on the road. Pat?
Yes, we start with a bit of tension in the air as Joe and I actually recorded this podcast hours ago. Then after we were done with it, Joe played it back to realize the sound was hopelessly garbled and you could not understand what was being said. Wasted an hour of my life, frankly.
And now we're re-recording it after we went to a we drank all through the first recording. Then we went to a lengthy dinner, drank all through that. And now we're back here recording it again. And
I complained when we recorded this at 6 p.m. about how tired I was, just bone tired.
Right.
Now I've eaten a large meal. I've had 3 to 4 strong drinks. And I really don't want to be doing it, but maybe we'll find something beautiful from this pain that we're going through. I was mauled by a dog earlier tonight outside of Joe's apartment. Very bizarre. Dog just ran out of nowhere and started biting my arm.
Did you ever think it's something about you?
Of course I thought that. I mean, it was so strange. Not only was I not provoking it, I had my back to it and was like looking at my phone sitting on the curb. And this dog went out of its way to just run at me and bite me. And that's not the first time. I had a poker game I went to where the dog tore through my pants and blood was pouring out the cuff of my pants. Like,
in all fairness,
unprovoked.
In all fairness, you are wearing the Alpo jacket you got when they sponsored you in the Indy
yes,
in the Indianapolis 700.
And it's not just, the Alpo logo on the pocket. It's a jacket made of Alpo dog food.
Yeah.
A mistake, probably. But here we are.
We went to so we recorded. We're talking about the Halloween franchise this week.
Yes.
Because it was just previously Halloween, and the franchise is about to start back up again. And, it just seemed like a good thing to do. It was Pat's suggestion, and I agreed with it. I had just seen the original on the big screen on Halloween night, which was fun. So that's what we're talking about this week, and we, as Pat said, already recorded the episode earlier, and the goddamn thing didn't come. This happened on Emotional Hangs recently, too. We recorded a whole episode, and then we went and listened to it, and it sounded like almost like if you were lost on an island and you had a walkie-talkie and you were desperately trying to communicate.
Right.
And on, in between channels, you heard somebody being like, come in, like one of those things.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like. It sounded bad. So we had to ditch it. It was a bummer, but we had dinner plans with our friend David, and we went to dinner with him.
That's Hollywood's David Krumholtz, folks.
Yes. Ever heard of The Judge? He's in it.
What was he in The Judge? I saw it.
He's the lawyer at the beginning when Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't see The Judge, that film is basically if Iron Man was a lawyer.
Yeah.
That's basically the movie.
In a small town in the South.
Yeah, they're like, let's just pretend this is an Iron Man movie, except you never see him dress up as Iron Man. This is just kind of Tony Stark being Tony Stark.
And I believe Robert Duvall pisses his pants in it, correct?
In the actual film, or is this behind-the-scenes folklore?
No, in the film. I'm pretty sure at some point Robert Duvall pisses his pants, because I remember being like, Duvall doesn't need to be playing a character who's pissing his pants. It made me very sad.
Why does he...
Because he's old and senile, and he's butting heads with Downey and blah, blah.
Senile is not a term we use anymore.
Why not?
It's just not a term anymore. It's
you
not
say
like...
batty?
No, yeah, you say
that dizzy old dame?
Yeah. No, it's not like a medical term. It's dementia, Alzheimer's.
Dementia sounds goonier to me than senile.
Senile, I don't think it was ever deemed derogatory. It's just, it was just a term where they were like, it's not an accurate medical term.
Okay.
I think. Now, Pat, far be it from me to doubt anything I'm saying right now after the night we've had.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, I'm also 4 or 5 strong drinks in.
Yeah.
We've had a little bit of the wacky.
Don't have to tell them.
Tobacco.
Don't have to tell them.
It's legal here. It's fine.
I know. Have a card.
And I have chosen to have another whiskey while we record this.
I'm sitting this round out so I don't fall asleep.
Yeah.
But
are you upset that I told him about the wacky tobacco?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
Folks, before we get too far into this, I think we should probably pause briefly to get on with the show.
Oh!
And in doing so, on WITHTHE Joe.
Very good.
Little old-timey radio feel.
Now you
little Radioland Murders feel. You ever see that movie?
It's a George Lucas vehicle.
I liked it.
I never saw it.
Horrifically reviewed. It was fun. It was kind of like Noises Off, but
I never saw it. You know, my favorite George Lucas movie is Red Tails.
Never saw Red Tails. Did he direct Red Tails?
No, he just produced it. But that was the one where he's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like it was, and it was a shame because it was a good story about the black fighter pilots in World War II. But he had a hard time getting funding, and I don't think anybody saw it.
Did you ever see Noises Off?
Yeah, I did when I was in college.
It's a great play, of course. A play I was in at one point.
Which role did you play in it?
I played the John Ritter role.
Okay. Now, did you do that fall down the stairs like he does in the movie?
Yes. But I think the movie is really, really funny, especially to be directed by Peter Bogdanovich, who is not a man known for his sense of humor.
I like that movie. But wait, you did that fall down the steps?
I fell down the stairs.
How did you do that?
I did. It probably didn't look as good as John Ritter, but I just fell down a flight of stairs.
And you didn't hurt yourself? That's a very
16.
hard.
You can't hurt yourself when you're 16.
That's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm a skilled actor.
Well, why do you bring up Noises Off?
Because the Radioland Murders had a similar vibe. A lot of doors slamming and etc. And I think that they're both kind of fun. Oscar has a similar vibe, which is a very underrated movie as well.
Stallone's Oscar, Soap Dish, I would throw into this category.
Sure, you're not wrong. They're farce. Frasier. I'll tell you what, I'd throw John Candy's Delirious into this
mix.
You ever see Once Upon a Crime?
You know, when I was a kid, there's not a movie I wanted to see more. I never got around to it. And
it's not great.
Now looking back, I'm thankful because I also felt that way about Nothing But Trouble. And then when I finally saw it, I was like, oh, God, what have I would lay
Well,
my
Nothing But
eyes?
Trouble has sort of a traffic accident feel where you're kind of like, to me, it's better than Delirious or Once Upon a Crime because it's just such a train wreck. It's more interesting to watch.
See, I like Delirious. You don't like Delirious?
I don't know.
Why not?
Just like real bottom of the barrel candy shit.
I mean, see, to me, Canadian Bacon is when you're getting
That fucking sucks. Yeah.
down low. But
Michael Moore did Canadian Bacon.
Yeah. I like Delirious. I like the guy from Happiness, like falling apart from the radioactive exposure.
Yeah, I like that too.
It's funny watching John Candy be like the sort of like 007 character where like he's like very...
that, go watch Who's Harry Crumb. Then at least you'll laugh.
All right. I mean, I like Muriel Hemingway.
Terrible.
Jerry Orbach.
No interest.
You don't like Jerry Orbach?
Never did.
He does. By the way, that's my chair squeaking. I'm on a squeaky chair. Jerry Orbach does.
Unconfirmed, folks.
When I'm
unconfirmed.
One of my favorite. Are you okay over there?
Yeah.
You all right? All right.
Yeah.
Jerry Orbach does one of my favorite movie gags ever.
Come on.
In Delirious.
All right. One of your favorite movie gags ever is in Delirious.
I'm not saying his version is my favorite. I'm saying it's a gag that I always am a sucker for when they do it, and I've talked about it before on this podcast. It's when he's talking John Candy out of the room because John Candy's all nervous about the script, and Jerry Orbach's like the producer of the show. And he's going, "It will be fine. We love you. You're our favorite." And John Candy's like, "Okay, as long as you're telling me it'll be fine." He's like, "It'll be great. It'll be great." And John Candy's like, Thank you. All right, that makes me feel better. Thank you. And then Jerry Orbach shuts the door and he turns around and he goes, schmuck. Yeah. I always like that gag. That gag makes me laugh every time.
Sure. Would it work for any word but schmuck?
I think schmuck is the best word for it, schmuck.
So,
what's your favorite movie gag? Like, what's one of those,
like
things?
An old classic?
Yeah, like you've seen it a million times. Like the judge gets up, he's got no pants on. You know what I mean? One of those things.
I do always enjoy when they'll knock a service person out and then in the next scene be wearing their clothes. Most famous example, of course, is the Naked Gun Enrico Palazzo. I just named my production company Enrico Palazzo.
You were telling me.
But I just like that. You karate chop someone, they fall to the ground unconscious, and you wear their clothes and they fit better on you than they did on them.
Well, the double gag is when the clothes fit terribly.
Right.
That's always really great.
I've seen a lot of variations. Austin Powers did some, I think.
Yeah.
I like that. Delirious, he was a soap opera writer who starts to fantasize that he's in the show.
Because he's in love with...
He gets hit in the head?
He's in love with Muriel Hemingway, who's auditioning for this part. The network... Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's not. He's in love with the lady from... Yeah, she's like a soap opera actress. And she's
Susan Lucci.
Yeah, I think he's in love with... I think it's Susan Lucci, right? He's in love with her, but she's...
I don't think it's Susan Lucci.
It's not. It's definitely not Susan Lucci.
You fully agreed with me.
No. It's Susan Sarandon, I believe, plays the part in the film. Anyway, he's in love with her. She, strings him along. She suckers
Fiona
him.
Hughes, I think is who it is.
It's psychotic that you know the actor's name.
I'm going to look. If I'm right, I'm going to be very excited.
I mean, that's really...
Viola Hughes or something? Go on.
Anyway, he's in love with her. She's the star of the show. She strings him along. She knows that she can manipulate him because he's in love with her, and she gets him to write the show basically around her and to her liking.
Gotcha.
And then he gets into an accident. She screws him over. They're supposed to go away for the weekend, and he's furious, and he's driving and speeding up to this cabin alone without her because she's left him to hang once again. And he gets into a car accident, and then he ends up in his own soap opera that he hates because of the way everybody's making him write it.
Gotcha.
And then he starts to write it from the inside, and it's actually a very cool idea. It's just,
The actress was Emma Samms.
That's right, Emma Samms. And then also, you know who else is in it? Is Sledgehammer.
David Rash.
Yeah.
From Very, Very Funny and Burn After Reading.
I love Burn After Reading.
I do too.
So much.
I do too.
So much. I was walking around my house the other day going, I have a drinking problem? Fuck you, Walsh. You're Mormon. Compared to you, everybody has a drinking problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very funny scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. His name's not Walsh in the movie. I just said it because I couldn't think of his name.
I don't know what his name is.
You want to do a Pat's Movie Corner?
I will say yes, but I haven't seen anything.
Nothing.
I've been extremely busy, hence my extreme tiredness. I watched... I'm still enjoying the new season of Curb. I think it's funny, folks. I think it's taken a meaner turn, but these are meaner times. Other than that, I'm up till 6 on Stranger Things. I'm finding it okay, but it's losing me. Every time I start it, I fall asleep. I've heard 7 is a real low point. That's the one I got coming up next. A lot of people hated 7.
7's the one where she's like training.
I ain't seen it.
I think.
I don't know.
I liked Stranger Things quite a bit. I finished it. I won't spoil anything, but I will say it is certainly the Empire Strikes Back of the series so far, at least. It's definitely more of an emotional story, and I did like how the characters were sort of going off on their own emotional journeys. Mm-hmm. I really liked it. I thought it was great, and I really came to care immensely about the characters. Like, I fell in love with Sean Astin's character.
I like him.
Bob the Brain. I really fell in love with the Steve character. The kids I already loved, and then you just love them even more. I really like Max, the new character. She's great. I like the guy that plays her brother. I just, I really enjoyed the show. I got really into the characters.
All right.
And I wept uncontrollably at the finale.
Okay.
Because I was so touched by it all. It was just a depiction of innocence that I have, Pat, if I could be honest with you, I've lost complete touch with at this point in my life.
Was this a snotty cry, a wet cry, an embarrassing cry?
No, it wasn't a snot cry. It was like a real dad cry. Like, you don't want the kids to see the tears, but they're coming down, and you know they're there.
But now, why here alone? Would you need to hide it?
Well, have you ever blubbered on your couch alone? It's not a great feeling.
I've done it.
It's not a great feeling.
But why not? It should be a great feeling. You're letting out a lot of sadness.
I don't know if you are aware, Pat, but I am not in touch with my emotions.
Nor am I. But I'm saying if you're sitting on the couch and they start to flow, why not just be like, oh, good, I can...
I let them go as much as I felt comfortable with, but I feel that all people can see everything I'm doing at all times, and they're judging it.
Right. Well, Jesus can.
Well, yeah. And he's a son of a bitch, as we all know. Whoa, folks, I'm kidding. For you religious people, I'm joking. Oh, you motherfuckers. I have some Pat's Movie Corner stuff.
Before I forget, folks, I'd like to tell you at dinner tonight, Joe, who was a little high, David orders a prime rib. What is it? Pork chop. And he goes, I'd like it. He goes, should I get the pork chop or the steak? And they go, I like the steak. He goes, all right, I'll get the steak, but I'll get it medium rare. And then Joe says, I'll have the pork chop. And then he looks up, this crazed look on his face, and he goes, not medium rare. And the waiter looked horrified. And neither the waiter or me or David so much as smiled. And Joe like buried his face in the menu, ashamed and embarrassed.
That was it. I was out for the rest of the meal. I didn't talk.
Really speak again. Yeah. But it was a huge swing and a huge miss.
Yeah. It made sense in my head. In my head, it was a great bit.
Yeah.
It was a closing of the episode freeze frame joke.
Right.
And it just was not that when it came out.
No.
And,
Not medium rare. Very bad joke.
I also led the meal tonight. My appetizer was a slice of blueberry cheesecake.
Folks, I don't know how I buried the lead on this one. Joe, as an appetizer, ordered a piece of cheesecake. That's before the meal. I don't know. All right, take us through.
No. Hold on.
All right.
And Walsh is giving me shit. He goes, I thought we were going to share the gator bites because this fucking restaurant has a thing called gator poppers.
And on the way there, Joe said, I'm going to get those gator bites.
They're delicious. And it is actually alligator meat that is battered and fried. And then they give you some sort of a Russian mixed with ranch dressing to dip it in.
Heavy on the chives, whatever it is. It's chive heavy.
So I decided last minute, I'm going to get this cheesecake first. We're a little stoned. I would like a little sweet tooth action. Then after Pat's giving me shit, he goes, who gets a cheesecake as an appetizer? I say, who gets a gator bites as an appetizer? Never seen that on a menu in my life.
Folks, gator bites have been ordered by me and Joe there before.
They're delicious.
Joe said he wanted them tonight, and they're on the list of appetizers.
Yeah.
Not only that, but the special appetizers.
Yeah.
So...
But they tossed that cheesecake out at us, and I was like, I gotta get this. It was a stressful thing. We got in there. Look, let's be honest. I didn't want to smoke weed.
Yeah.
My friends pressured me into it. I said, I don't want to smoke weed because we're going to get to this restaurant. I'm going to get all weird. They said, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Be a grown-up. They slapped me in the face a couple times.
I hit Joe with a phone book at one point.
Pat at one point grabbed my dick and yelled, "This declares ownership," the way like Kevin Spacey did to that guy in the bar.
Uh-huh.
And
is that what he said?
He grabbed the guy's dick in a bar and he goes, "This dictates ownership." As he was,
wow.
like, hanging the guy's dick. It's not funny, sorry. But then the guy said he had PTSD for 6 months because of it. It's like, buddy, he shouldn't have done that. But are you comparing this to watching your friend's face get blown off in a fucking foxhole?
Yeah. I mean, we can't minimize it, but like,
I don't want to. I'm not.
The amount of times someone on the subway like grabbed my dick, and I was like, you're not traumatized by
I'm not minimizing anything. Kevin Spacey shouldn't have done it. It's wrong that he did it. But to say I had literally PTSD,
yeah,
which is what soldiers who are in awful war combat have. It's like, come on, buddy. Like, sue him. But
unless he twisted the dick, unless his fingers cupped balls into a taint situation. I don't know.
They
got probing grab.
They got Andy Dick now on the dick grabbing.
Andy Dick's been widely known sexual offender for decades.
The Andy Dick story
keeps working.
I keep talking about is that he the time he was on Stern, he had a black eye.
Yeah. And
Stern's like, "Why do you have a black eye?" And he's like, I grabbed Wesley Snipes' dick in a bathroom and he punched me in the face.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they were just like all laughing. They were like, "You're an idiot. Why'd you do that?" And he's like, "I don't know. It doesn't have to be funny." So
he made a move on a writer on my show. You're the male writer on my show a few years back. And he was like, "Sorry, man, I'm married and I'm not interested. Thank you." And he goes, "Are you really not serious about your comedy career?"
Oh, boy.
Literally.
Oh, boy.
As if Andy Dick's going to take you to the top.
Oh, Andy, don't be a dick. Spacey, I mean, they stopped that fucking thing on a dime.
Yeah. Well, I like how they were like, "We're going to stop production on this show in 3 years." And everyone calls them out and they're like, "All right, well, I guess we'll stop production now." Well, you don't get credit now.
And by the way, Kevin Spacey, I don't approve of what you did at all. I don't condone it. But thank you for being a pervert so I don't ever have to fucking hear about how I need to watch House of Lies ever again. Cards. What's the other one? Oh, that's the Cheadle one.
House of Lies is one of the worst shows on television.
House of Cards?
First few years of House of Cards are very entertaining.
I don't give a shit. I'm tired of people telling me I have to watch it. It's riveting and all this shit.
It's kind of riveting.
It's gone. It's gone, and I'm glad it's gone.
I tell you, the only House of Cards now is this gentleman's career.
Sounds like he wasn't playing with a full dick.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Only thing Spacey are his victims after he drugs them. That was a darker one. I'm sorry.
You know what? Do you know what I remembered the other day? Is how we started doing the Sam Elliott impression of the podcast.
I don't remember how it came up.
I do. I finally remember it, and I remember why it was food.
Okay.
It was in the movie Grandma with Lily Tomlin.
Bad movie.
Where they go to Sam Elliott's house, and for some reason, the scene is him going, "You want some corn?"
Yeah.
And he feeds them corn on the cob at 2
sun-dried
o'clock in the
tomatoes.
afternoon. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The wind whistling through his mustache.
So, where were we? How did we get off onto Kevin Spacey?
You were talking about the PTSD and the grabbing of the dick.
No. But before that, you grabbed my dick. I said, you made me smoke weed. That's what it was.
Right, yeah.
You forced me to do it.
Yeah, not true at all. We were like, come on, man. Once. And then you're like, okay.
And then we go to this restaurant, and from the jump, everything in the restaurant was everything I was afraid would happen. We had to stand at the host station for way too long.
Forever.
Being ignored by multiple wait staff. They wouldn't seat us.
Terrible service throughout. Damon's in Glendale. It's such a fun place. They really whiffed it
tonight. Was a botch.
They whiffed it.
Botch job. Then I go to the bathroom. I'm standing there, and there's like a line of people, and the guy in front of me turns to me and goes, "Hey, I think the men's room's open." I go, "Okay. Aren't you in line?" He goes, "No, none of us are waiting for the bathroom." So then it's weird. There's a line of people just hanging around outside the bathroom. I didn't understand that. Then you go back to the table. The waiter's taking forever. Then my goddamn rare, not medium rare joke bombs. It was a rough night. I just
really
checked out
bombed.
at that point.
Yeah.
I got nothing else for Pat's Movie Corner. I mean, I've been watching Perfect Strangers. We don't need to talk about it again.
What's the best ep I need to watch?
It's either the season 5 or season 6 premiere where Larry lies to his girlfriend Jennifer that he's an amazing roller skater because he wants her to be impressed for the fundraiser that the airline is holding, where it's a skate-a-thon.
And that's how he tries to impress him.
And he's never skated, but he makes up a story where he says, "When I was in high school, they used to call me Wheels."
Uh-huh.
And then the whole episode. So then they
Is
leave.
it like a dramatic monologue, I hope?
No, not at all. And then the girlfriends leave, and Balky goes, "Cousin, you need to teach me how to skate." And he's like, "Okay, let's put the skates on." And they do, and then Balky goes, "What next?" And then Larry goes, "I don't know. I've never had a pair of skates on in my life."
Uh-huh.
And then the whole episode is Larry's plan that if they just wear the skates everywhere they go, they'll be able to learn how to skate and, to impress Jennifer for the fundraiser.
Okay.
And then, of course, he wins the fundraiser, and she goes, "You raised the most money out of everybody, Larry. You did it." And then he goes, Jennifer, to me, it was never a competition. And it was. And,
Right.
It's your typical Perfect Strangers episode.
I'll watch it.
Your typical Perfect Stranger Things episode.
What is the worst thing Larry Appleton has done on Perfect Strangers?
Like meanest or like the dumbest?
The meanest.
The one where he goes to the seminar that teaches him to be assertive, and then his girlfriend cancels plans, and he's like, "I'll tell you this right now. You don't do this ever again, or you're out of here, Missy." And she leaves, and then Balky's like, "You were just really rude to your girlfriend." And he's like, "No, don't you get it? People like it when you talk to them that way, especially women." That's the one where he kind of goes off the deep end.
Okay.
But it's like funny because it all blows up in his face. It's not like he just gets. It's not like he just gets away with being an asshole or something.
Right. I have something for Joe's scary stuff.
And for once, did you get it right? Well, I think I might have known you did because we recorded this
did it.
episode already.
John Carpenter's Anthology on vinyl. It's a collection of John Carpenter's most famed movie themes. Halloween. Other ones. Big Trouble in Little China. And it's very cool. They even like Dark Star and shit. They have like all these themes, and I think they're re-recorded with his band, which is like his son.
I've always found the title Dark Star troubling. It sounds like a porno. Sounds like
does.
a porno movie.
You mean it sounds like somebody's butthole?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's great. I got it on vinyl. It's like $18, and you listen to these themes. It's great writing music, great Halloween music. Check it out.
I got a video game during the Sale of the Dead on the PS4 network. If you remember, they offered extremely discounted prices on video games all month that were horror themed. I got a game called The Order 1866. It came out about 3 years ago. It was released to very lukewarm reviews, which is why I never bought it. It went on for the Sale of the Dead last week. They were selling this thing for, I think it was $4.99. And I was like, well, I'm going to buy that because I always wanted to play it, and you can't beat $4.99. I got to tell you, folks, it's one of the most visually striking games I've ever played in my life. It's one of the coolest storylines. It's the steampunk thing where you're a knight in this sacred order, and then you find out that the order is the Knights of the Round Table, and you're, which is descended down from King Arthur, and you're there because there are lichens in the city, and you have to hunt down the lichens, and it's cinematic and beautiful and so well acted. Voice and facial capture is truly just remarkable. And then you go into these action sequences where you're like doing like Gears of War shit, like ducking behind multiple, boxes and walls and whatever to take cover, and having like shootouts with guys that are going to turn into werewolves sporadically. It's fucking awesome. It is awesome. I don't understand why this game didn't get better reviews.
I'm gonna order it.
Yeah, and I think when it's not on sale, it's still only like $20, which...
Why is it called 1866? That makes me think like I'm going to watch something about the Old West.
It takes place in the year 1866.
But not the Old West?
No, it takes place in London. Excuse me, sorry.
Oh, I only like the Old West.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming out, and that's going to be pretty insane.
Is that a zombie one?
No, it'll there'll probably be like a zombie bonus thing, but that's an Old West game, and that's going to be awesome.
Okay. All right.
But I like sort of 1800s. What is that? That's not Victorian, right? What is that? What era do you call that? That's not Renaissance. What is that? Or is that Renaissance?
No, it's definitely not. Renaissance are like the 1500s.
Or 1866. Well, whatever. I like 1800s in England. I always think that looks very cool. It looks like it's coming. It's just getting out of, sort of a Christmas Carol.
Sure.
And that
Victorian
stuff.
England.
It is Victorian. I can't remember if I said that. Anyway, it's a great game. Go
get
it.
Renaissance.
Well, and then I said another one too, but I can't remember what the other one was that I said.
It's called 1866?
It's called
The Order.
1886. Oh, 1886. This chair is really noisy. Sorry, guys. 1886.
All right, I'll get it.
Thought it was 1866. I mean, sue me, Pat. What do you want?
Well, you're recommending something. People might want to know what
it's not that hard to find. You type in PlayStation The Order, and that's...
Well, I was typing in 1866, and I got no results.
Well, I don't know why you would do that.
Because that's all I remembered from the name of the game.
That's like sort of the
Look.
Let's get to the movie.
You made the error. Folks, the movies we're discussing today are the Halloween franchise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Halloween 5. Halloween 6.
H2O.
H2O. Resurrection. Rob Zombie's Halloween with rapes. And then Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 with more rapes. And then, on the horizon, the Danny McBride new version of Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Which is about Michael Myers returning back to kill and telling everybody how great of a murderer he was at one point.
Yes.
But now he's lost it all, and nobody respects him.
Right. And he's pitching, I think, which is weird.
Yeah.
Still wearing the mask.
All right. I'm glad you got what I was doing with that.
I did. It took a second. But
all right.
I got it. For me, there's one classic movie out of the entire franchise, and that's Halloween 1. To me, there's one above average movie out of the entire franchise, and it's Halloween 1. Beyond that, my favorite is probably 3 because it's the most interesting. It veers off the beaten path. I like 2. 4 and 5, I almost forgot that I've seen. H2O is really fun. Resurrection is terrible. Zombie 1, I liked, even though it was repellent and I hated watching it. I kind of liked how scuzzy it was. And I hated that he killed that janitor. The janitor who was nice to him. It made me depressed. And then Halloween 2 is worse than that. You know, it's not a great franchise, frankly.
I think you're being harsh. I think you're being way harsh.
All right.
Now, I'll tell you something about your precious Halloween 1.
Please do.
It's a good movie. But I saw it on the big screen the other night, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of flaws in the movie.
Go through them.
There's a lot of flaws in the movie. First of all, Laurie Strode's best friend, whatever that character's name is, gets a lot of center stage time. And she's just a terrible actor. And the whole movie, she's just being like, you just need to get some dick in your pussy, Laurie. That's like her whole character, right. And she's not a good actor, and she gets so much stage time, and it's crazy.
You didn't like that she was a modern woman with a sexual appetite all her own.
I didn't care for it. Act like a little lady.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right? She's talking about, I want to go have a career.
Right.
Here's your career. Cook me some eggs.
Sure.
No, I just didn't. She's just a bad actor. Like she's not good.
All right.
So that bugged me. There's also stuff in the movie that's shot extremely well, and then there's stuff that's not shot that well. It's like you know, the scene where she's trying to get out of the Jamie Lee Curtis trying to get out of a door, and there's like a rake stopping the door from her. It's like, come on, like, you know. So there is a lot of that sort of old school shooting and editing in it, where it's just like, well, if we just cut back and forth between the bad guy and the good guy, that'll be suspenseful. And it's like, not really.
I think Halloween is very suspenseful.
I'm not saying it's not in places. I'm just saying that it's not this perfect gem of a film.
And you frankly don't know how heavy that rake was.
It's got its flaws.
Yeah.
It's got its flaws, and this is all I'll say.
Who among us doesn't?
This is all I'll say about those flaws. I think it is arguable that 1 or 2 is the better of the movies. That's all. I get why people like 1 more. I get why people like 2 more. I like 2 more because it's sort of like the slicker version of 1. It just kind of hits the ground running, and you know, there was more at stake. So the acting overall is just better, I believe. You know, 1 feels like a very indie, low budget 70s film, which is great. It's not bad. I'm just saying I can get why people like 1 versus the other.
All right.
3 I like quite a bit. You know, it's for everything you said.
It shouldn't have been a Halloween movie, but it's very cool.
Should have been, because that was Carpenter's original vision. Was every movie was going to have a different Halloween story.
Okay.
So the first one was a serial killer. The second one was going to be something completely different. Like there was going to be an anthology series, and the studio, the first one was so successful that they're like, you have to do a sequel.
Right.
So I like Halloween 3. I mean, it's batshit. Our friend Ken Hanley, formerly of Fangoria, he thinks 3 is the best one. I can't agree with that over the first 2, but I understand why 3 would appeal to somebody, and I like it. It's just a little, it's a little too nonsensical. There are a lot of real logic holes in it, but it's fun to watch. I like 4 quite a bit. It was a return to form. It was a return to the Michael Myers story. 5 to me is just a worse version of 4.
Yeah.
And 5 is where the full-on direct-to-video business started. So,
did it really not get a theatrical release, Halloween 5?
4 did, limited, I believe, and then 5, I think, went direct to, I think.
But why, if these movies were such hits, I thought?
Well, because back then it was like, you know, there was 2 levels of successful. There was theater successful, and then there was also, you're talking about a time when movies in the theater, you can get Jurassic Park and shit like that in the theaters, you know what I mean? They're making gazillions of dollars, and it's, you know, it's not like now where these low budget things can go into the theater.
Right.
But yeah, 5 was just sort of a worse version of 4. 6 is dog shit.
Yeah.
6 is where they try to say that Michael Myers, the cause of his violent nature is some old, like, I think American Indian curse or something like that. Has that ever been a good idea? Has it ever been a good idea to just go, that is like on the Stephen King wheel of reasons for things happening? Like, yeah. I love Stephen King. I like his stories. But some of his stories, you're reading them and you're like, he just spun his wheel. Where he's like, what's causing this? A giant spider. Okay. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
Weekend at Bernie's 2, it was voodoo.
Weekend at Bernie's 2, voodoo. Michael Myers 6, voodoo. Or ancient magic.
Curse.
Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare. Ancient evil, ancient curse. Jason Goes to Hell. Ancient evil, ancient. It's never good. And John Carpenter said about the first film, he's like, look, here's the thing. He's a mysterious evil. He kills his sister. Why? We don't know. Doesn't matter. You just know that that's what he did.
Right.
And that makes you question what his nature is, and then you have an interesting story. That's anytime, it happened with the Matrix movies. Once they started explaining everything, people were like, dude, fuck off, man. And look, I even like the Star Wars prequels, as you all know. I get shit for it constantly. But they did it with those too, where they're like, ever wonder where Darth Vader came from? Everybody's like, not really.
Not really, no.
So 6 really sucks ass. H2O, though, great jump back. Kevin Williamson in his prime, coming right off of the Dawson's Creek and the Faculty fame.
Used to watch it every week, Dawson's Creek.
I'm never...
Did not like the Faculty.
I'm never not a fan of Michelle Williams or Jared Leto. No, that's not Jared Leto.
No.
What's that kid's name?
Pacey? James Vanderbeek.
No. In
James Vanderbeek's Dawson. Joshua Jackson is...
No, in H2O.
Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett, yes.
Yeah. Don't like him.
I love him. Why don't you like him?
He's just a very sleepy actor. He doesn't seem to be trying.
You mean as opposed to the electric performance you're giving right now?
I'm not an actor. I mean, granted, I portrayed Ben Frywater in episode 9 of season 1 of Showtime's Roadies, directed by Cameron Crowe.
Was there a season 2?
No. No fault of mine.
And I read the reviews. They said despite Walsh's turn in episode 9, where it didn't get renewed.
I was very good on it.
Now, what was your character?
Ben Frywater. I was the manager of the band Fantagram.
Okay. Who are a real band.
Great band. Love them. And I come in, and they're unhappy with the way the stage is set up for a charity event. And I scream in a woman's face about how it's not up to code.
Okay.
It was great. And then I'm right there with Fantagram.
All right. I like it.
Ben Frywater. And... no, I guess I would have missed the Emmy cutoff.
Now, did you study the real-life Ben Frywater for a few weeks?
He was not a real person, so Cameron really gave me the space to create.
Okay.
And I mean, believe me, I took that space.
What would a man in this position do? That sort of thing.
Exactly.
I got you.
Now, I did live for about 18 months as a music talent manager.
Right.
Unbeknownst
to the musicians themselves.
Right.
Right.
So for 18 months, I would kind of shadow a lot of big music executives, all in preparation of this role where I made, $900. For about 4 hours of work.
I also heard that you would sleep in a hammock in the studio just to stay in the sort of zone of the whole thing.
I always do that, yes.
Yeah.
I carry a hammock around.
Walsh, I often say we're not paid to act anymore.
No.
And
you're paid to wait.
Yeah.
Is what I say.
And when a director gives you that
Love
gift.
to act, yes. Unwrap it.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
And for me, acting is playing. And I'll get right out there in the sandbox with my tools being my craft, my talent, my experiences that I bring to each role. And I got to tell you, when somebody else steps into that sandbox with me, hand me a shovel and a pail, buddy, because I'm ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see acting.
And you might get a little dirty.
I think you're not doing it right if you don't, frankly.
Yeah. I would just like to say right now, and many people I admire I've heard say this sentence.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to say this. If you're ever somebody that's uttered the words, I get to go to work and play.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Can you believe we get paid for this?
I play all day. That's my job. I just play.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Not because you're not playing. Fine, you're playing. You just sound like an idiot. Shut your idiot fucking mouth. Idiot.
Yeah. Where do you rank a Michael Myers with a Freddy and a Jace?
Now,
Pinhead.
Freddy's always going to be my number one.
Okay.
Pinhead's always going to be my number two, my side piece, if you will.
So you need them to talk.
I like a talker.
Sure.
I like a talker in the bedroom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you bring Michael Myers up there, he lays there like a dead fish.
However, try to do a little finger in the butt action with Freddy Krueger. You're going to wind up bleeding out. The man's got sharp knives for fingers.
You will get a little bleed out, but you're also going to get a nice pun to go along with it.
What's that?
Huh?
What's that?
He'll be like, talk about a rectal exam.
Oh, sure, yeah.
One of those things.
Rectum, I damn near killed him. That's what it should be.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
From
one asshole to another.
There you go. That's it. That's perfect.
I got some alts for it.
This is why you do what you do. You're good at it.
That's right.
From one asshole to another. That's very good.
Oh, thank you.
That's very good.
And I'm very tired. I want to say again. You're just flowing out.
Pinhead's going to be my second in command, though. Always.
Now, Joe, let me ask you, why did you tell Jeremy Piven to do what he did on the set of Entourage and beyond?
I wanted to bring him down.
Okay.
I wanted to bring him down, and I didn't believe in him. I didn't believe in his work.
Yeah.
And I knew that he was probably just dumb enough to do something insane.
He did. I have talked, I'm pretty sure, on this podcast about people I know who were sexually harassed by Jeremy Piven and about him warning you if you hook up with him, he'll only do it in the butt and all this kind of stuff.
I've heard...
Oh, that was Grenier, actually. But
yeah,
Piven
I've
had a
heard
bunch of
these
side
stories.
shit as well.
But, folks, by the way,
Allegedly.
I didn't tell Jeremy Piven to do anything. It's a joke.
It's a joke.
I feel like we need to state that right now.
Well, you didn't tell him, but you asked him.
I don't know Jeremy Piven. I've never spoken to Jeremy. I did meet him once. He was smoking a cigar and drinking cognac, and he didn't really talk to me.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything inappropriate that one time that I met him. But
all right.
At least while I was there. So
that's pretty good.
But yeah, it's see you later, Piven, I guess.
Yeah.
See you later, Spacey.
See, I'm gonna go Freddy. See, I don't like Freddy though.
Why?
I don't like Freddy.
Why not?
I don't like looking at him. I think he's corny.
He wasn't corny. He was fucking scary and awesome, which is why I got mad when everybody hated the remake so much. I was like, look, at least they made Freddy scary again. Like it's not like goddamn one-liners and shit. So did New Nightmare though. New Nightmare is great. I think 2 is good. He's scary in 2. He's and 3 is where it starts to. 3's good, but 3 is where it really is teetering.
Right.
They're pushing it in 3. And then 4, 5, and 6 are where I'll watch the movies, but that's where it really goes off into like pun zone.
Sure.
Into the pun zone. But who do you like better than Fred? I mean, if you're going to talk about the coolest one, Pinhead is the coolest. He says the coolest shit. He's the scariest. He's like, I'm going to take you to hell and rip your skin off with these hooks.
Sure.
And he says really great stuff. We have such sights to show you.
Sure.
Your suffering will be legendary, even in hell. Those are really scary things to say to somebody. And, I would say them to my mom. Sometimes I would sneak into her room at night and I'd wake her up and I would just whisper that in her ear.
Terrible.
Just to see how she'd react.
My favorite is probably The Lady in the Water from the film Lady in the Water.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite horror
Bryce
film.
Dallas Howard.
Yes.
I'll tell you, she's not half as scary as her father on set.
Now, why is that?
I don't know. I'm just making a joke that he like yells on. I don't fucking know. Ron Howard. Could
He's
you imagine
supposed
a
to be a very
nicer
nice man.
seeming guy to work for? Seems like there would be never a problem with him.
You excited about Ron Howard's Solo?
Yeah, of course. Star Wars.
All right.
I
I just thought Christopher Lloyd was a weird choice
as Han Solo.
as young Han Solo. I mean, I don't get that at all, but I hope he does a good job.
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
I need you to fix the engine on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. I'm
like-
young. Then
Huh?
he says at the end of every line, I'm young.
I swear I'm not a day over 18. Halloween Resurrection. Let's round this out.
Go on.
We already did a whole episode about this one. It fucking sucks ass. It is the low point of the series. It is worse than even the Rob Zombie movies. And I hate the Rob Zombie Halloweens. But at least they have a plot that makes sense. And they're not cash grabs in the sense that they're just putting celebrity cameos in the whole thing.
Right.
Halloween Resurrection is a fucking dog show. It betrays H2O. It's terrible. And, you know, and we've talked about this as well. I'm very excited for the McBride one.
Okay.
I'm excited for Jamie Lee Curtis's return. I'm excited to see what they do with it as a sequel to the first movie, to see if Laurie is his sister still or not. And I'm excited that Carpenter's coming back to score and I believe produce, you know? So I think it's going to be pretty fucking good, man.
Is it a Halloween release?
I would imagine. But I mean, here's the thing.
Be fun.
Carpenter has like essentially ran screaming from this franchise for years.
Mm-hmm.
For years and years and years. Like I saw a documentary once about the franchise where it was like it was on a regular network, so there was commercials, and after one of the breaks they go, up next, find out how John Carpenter is still involved with the franchise. And I was so excited because I thought they were going to say he was like coming back. And then it goes to Carpenter and he's like, yeah, I'm still involved. Every time they use my song, I get a check. Keep paying me. I don't care. Keep making them. You know, like, I was like, oh, this guy's like so over it. It's crazy. So the fact that he's back and said this was an idea I couldn't resist, I mean, that's intriguing, obviously. So
I'm excited to see it.
Folks, that's our show, and that is the Halloween franchise. You got anything to plug, Pat?
I got my show, Living Biblically. We shot promos this week. They'll probably start airing at some point soon. It's getting close. I think it's going to be January. We don't have an air date yet. Keep it in your thoughts. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at the Patrick Walsh. That's all I got, folks.
These days, I'm only posting to my Twitter from my Instagram, but it's Joe DeRosa Comedy on Instagram. Come follow me, and I will be in Texas. 3 cities, Austin, Dallas, and Houston. Austin on the 15th, Dallas on the 17th, and Houston on the 18th and 19th. Check out joederosainfo.com for venue and ticket details. And that's our show. We'll see you next time.
And we'll see you in hell.
That was a HeadGum podcast.